Hey guys, it's Jay and I am back here in my room. I know that I'm still posting my Europe vlogs from my trip. I am actually home. I have been home since November, so it has been a little while. As I always say in all my videos, I'm behind and that's okay. I seriously just got to a point in my trip where I was just so exhausted and I literally just could not be fuck posting anymore. Still recorded, so don't worry, I've still got my Vienna, Budapest, Krakow, Prague, Berlin/Germany and Amsterdam vlogs coming soon. But I just really needed a break. Traveling on your own for such an extended period of time and trying to create content on both like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everything, it really takes a fucking toll. Like I just seriously was so burnt out. I was walking like 30,000 steps a day. I lost 8 kilos on my trip. Like that should put it into perspective for you. Like I was malnourished for real. The reason I'm back today is because I wanted to make a video on the EURAIL and INTERRAIL passes. This was something that I had a lot of questions about myself before my trip and even during as I was learning how it worked. I just wanted to make a video that I would have loved to see before my trip. And hopefully if anyone out there has any similar questions or any reservations about the pass, I can answer them for you and just make it a bit more of a pleasant experience because I really do rate this pass and obviously I'll get into it. I had an amazing trip and hopefully this will help you have one too. First question, what is an INTERRAIL or a EURAIL pass? Basically, this is just a train pass that works in 33 European countries. You can buy a pass just for a single country, or you can buy a global pass, which means it just works in more than one country. There is a price difference depending on what you pick. You can also pick either a first class pass, a second class pass, and you can also pick the continuous passes, which means it'll work for a set period of time every single day, or you can get a flexi pass, which means it'll work for a certain amount of time, but only on specific days. So you might get 7 travel days in 1 month, or you might get 15 in 2 months, whatever it might be. So essentially the benefit of getting this pass is that you don't actually have to buy individual tickets for trains. There are certain trains that operate outside of the network, so you can't actually get on those, which I don't really know why it includes them in the planning platform. Like I always make sure to select the only in-pass network option because it will show you trains that you can't take because they're not in the pass network. It's really weird. But it does allow you to essentially take as many trains as you want on your select travel days. Some of them will require seat reservations, which we'll get into, so hold your horses. I had a lot of questions about this as well. Essentially, that's the whole point of it, is that it just makes it a lot easier. You can jump on, jump off, and just saves you a little bit of money. When I was on my trip, I actually got the 3-month continuous pass. That's the only pass I actually offer that works for a 3-month period. And I actually really liked having the continuous pass because I wasn't limited by travel days. For myself, it was just so much nicer knowing that I could catch a train at any point on any day and I won't have to worry about using up a travel day or having to pay for it. I did use it quite a lot on day trips, and I remember when I was in Switzerland, I was using my EURAIL pass to take trains to certain hikes. If you haven't watched it, check out my Switzerland video. And other friends that I was with literally had to pay like $70 for one train ride, which is insane. So I was automatically saving money just from that. And that wasn't even a trip that I was meant to be taking. Like it was just something I decided to do. It definitely can save you a lot of money in that regard. If you do want to keep costs down, the flexi passes are quite good as well. You just have to have a little bit more of a rigid schedule. And if you are going to go on day trips and things like that, you might need to seek alternative routes. It's all dependent. You'll have to do your own research, but that's why I do personally think that continuous passes are a little bit better if you do have the money to spend for it. What is the difference between an INTERRAIL pass and a EURAIL pass? They're literally the exact same thing. The only difference is that an INTERRAIL pass is for Europeans, whereas a EURAIL pass is for everyone else. So me being Australian, I got the EURAIL pass. If you were from the UK, if you're from Germany, if you're from France, you'd be getting the INTERRAIL pass. If you're outside of Europe, North America, you might be in South America, Africa, Asia, Australia, whatever it might be, you'll get the EURAIL pass. And it will show you this on the website. It asks what country you live in, so you just put in the country and it'll automatically select INTERRAIL or EURAIL. I thought INTERRAIL would have it a lot cheaper. It definitely is cheaper, but it's not by much. As I already said, the main benefit of actually getting this pass is that you can take multiple trains per day essentially for free. Obviously you do pay money for the pass, that's where the money comes from. You don't actually have to buy the individual tickets, so it does give you a lot more flexibility. And one thing that I really appreciated about the pass is that if for some reason you do miss a train, because European trains are notoriously delayed, sometimes I have missed a second train, I don't have to worry about getting a refund, I don't have to worry about having to buy another ticket. I can literally just find when the next train is on the app, which I will get to. You can literally just jump on essentially free of charge. It just makes the whole process a lot smoother and it does give you a lot more flexibility, which I really appreciated. What is the difference between a first class and a second class EURAIL pass? Now, as the name might suggest, first class is nicer than second class. My main difference that I really appreciated as a solo traveler is that most of the first class carriages go by a 2x1 seat layout, whereas the second class carriages generally go by a 2x2. I could pretty much always sit on my own at a window, which I really liked. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck next to someone or you're in an aisle seat, and I'm always a window seat sitter. But also, when you actually book your seat reservations, because I'm just buying it for one person, it'll automatically allocate me one of those individual seats. Whereas when you're in second class, it will kind of give you, I guess, whatever seat is just free. Like, they don't really care that much. So I really like that as well as a consumer, because it was just nicer having my own seat away from everyone. But another great thing when you don't have seat reservations is that with a first class pass, you can actually sit in either carriage. So even if first class is for some reason full, or if you have friends sitting in second class, you can go sit with them. Whereas with a second class pass, you can only sit in second class. Otherwise, the ticketers will move you along and they might actually charge you if you wanted to stay in there instead. Also, with the seat reservations, most of the time, the seat reservations for first and second classes were the exact same. So if you have a first class pass, you're actually encouraged to book a first class seat reservation, which again, I don't know why you wouldn't, but they do work out to be the same. So you may as well. I think the only trains where the seat reservation price was different was actually on the Eurostar, but that's because Eurostar Plus versus Eurostar Standard is actually quite different. I got free food, I got free coffees, they came and checked on us, I got a nicer seat. It was just like a much nicer experience compared to looking at the second class. Just check out the price, see what kind of works for you and your itinerary and your budget. But for me, I'm actually really grateful that I booked it, especially with my 25% off, which I will get to, which essentially made it the same price as what a second class pass would have been full price anyway. How does it actually work? Now, you can get a physical pass. I've never met anyone that had one. I assume you have to pick it up or have it shipped to you. I don't know. It just seems like a really confusing process. I fear these days we all have a mobile phone. Just download the app. It's actually called the Rail Planner app. You literally can download it, and once you actually have your pass linked and you can activate it, you can actually create your trip. So you can actually already preload all of your travel dates, especially if you have more of a rigid itinerary like I did. If not, you can just add them as you go. You've obviously got a little departure part with a destination. Go through all the trains, make sure to select pass network, don't be a fool. See if they have seat reservations, what time they leave, how many changes, what the trip duration is. You can just pick what's best for you when you want to leave. And then when you actually want to catch it, obviously you already have it added to your trip. You just select the journey, and there's almost like a little iPhone alarm slide part. You literally just tap that to activate the ticket and it will take it to your pass. You go to your pass tab and it'll pull up a big QR code, and then the ticket person will just scan it. And if you do need a seat reservation as well, they'll check that at the same time, but make sure to have that ticket up and ready to go. And that's literally it. That's how it works. It's very, very easy. It feels a bit weird the first time, but you just follow the steps. You just activate the ticket, show your ticket, and that's it. Easy peasy. Even I could do it. What are seat reservations? How do they work? Why do we need them? And what do you do? By having an INTERRAIL or a EURAIL pass, you can essentially jump on almost any train without needing a ticket. But you can imagine how many other travelers and other people who take trains in their day-to-day lives are also doing this. Obviously, quite a few trains can reach capacity. There's not enough seats for everyone. This doesn't happen all the time. I hopped on quite a few trains that were literally empty, but they can obviously get quite full, especially if you only buy a second class pass, because it's a cheaper option and more people will pay for it. So what a seat reservation actually is it's reserving a seat, as the name would suggest, but it's almost like selling you a discounted ticket. And when I was first looking into this and purchasing mine, I thought this was a really dumb concept. Like, why am I having to buy a pass and then having to also book a seat that costs money? I may as well just buy a normal ticket and save money on the pass. But you actually do save quite a lot of money by just booking a seat reservation with your pass, opposed to the actual ticket on its own. Now, let me get you some examples. I've used routes from my trip that I actually used myself. Obviously, these are for a different time period. These are for end of March, early April, but you kind of get the gist of it. I caught the Eurostar from London to Paris, and I also caught it from Amsterdam back to London. If I was to buy a seat reservation on the Eurostar from London to Paris on the 30th of March this year, it would cost me $38 for a second class seat, which isn't too bad in my opinion. Going between countries, $38 really not that bad. Personally, I had the first class pass and I decided to buy the first class seat because, first of all, why not? It was only $15 more, and I literally got fed, I got free coffee, I got an individual seat. It was amazing. But if I actually go onto the Eurostar website and put in the exact same date and look for the cheapest journey, it's 151 euros, which works out to be a meager 250 Australian dollars. So as you can see, $38, $250. There's a little bit of a price difference there. And I will say as well, the Eurostar definitely is a bit of an extreme example. It is a little bit more bougie. It's definitely like the most expensive for like a single journey that I had to pay for a seat reservation. So I'll go through some other ones as well, just to put it into perspective. So if I wanted to go from Barcelona to Nice, you do have to do 2 transfers, but with a EURAIL pass, the seat reservations work out to be $81.80. And this is quite expensive, but like I said, this is 3 separate trains. So you do have to buy separate seat reservations for each. It's not one inclusive. And that was for the 9:26 train on the 1st of April. Like I said, 3 separate trains, $81 for all of them. Now, if I look for the exact same train on Rome to Rio, it ends up being the fastest one that they have there. For that train, it is $288 for the 3 train tickets. So again, keep in mind, 3 separate trains, you need a ticket for each of them. $81 versus $288. It's about a $200 difference. So as you can see, it definitely can add up. If you wanted to go from Florence to Rome, which is a very common and very quick trip in Italy, the seat reservation there is $26. But if you wanted to buy a ticket between the two of these, the cheapest ticket leaves at 5:45 a.m. and it's $45. So obviously, as you go further throughout the day, it's going to climb in price. So you can already see there, $20 difference. And last but not least, I thought I'd do one in Eastern Europe as well, because the prices can be a little bit different. If you wanted to go from Krakow, Poland, and go to Prague, which I did do as well, the direct trip from 11 a.m. is $10.40 for a seat reservation with the EURAIL pass. Whereas if you book that exact same trip as the ticket on its own, it's $63. So there's a $53 difference there that you'll be paying if you got the seat reservation with the EURAIL pass or the ticket on its own. And of course, like I said, you do have to pay for the pass. So it's not like you're only booking these seat reservations and that's it. You do have to pay an upfront amount for the pass and then you pay the additional seat reservation amounts. But depending on how much you're traveling, you will save a lot of money. Like I said, these are journeys that I actually took, and looking at the actual ticket price versus what I paid with the seat reservation, it was still a bit costly, and especially with the first class pass. My entire train journeys for the pass and all my seat reservations worked out to be 2,000 AUD for the 3 months. But looking at some of these, like especially the Barcelona one where it's $288, or the Eurostar one where it was literally $250, that's already about $500. That's a quarter of what I paid just on 2 different journeys. And I had a first class pass traveling for 3 months straight, catching exclusively trains other than when I flew to Greece and when I took buses through Croatia. So you can definitely see the benefit here. If you are traveling long term and if you are going multiple places, you definitely will save money. If you are only going to maybe 1 or 2, it might be better to just book it on its own or do something like Flixbus. But I really appreciated it, and looking back, I literally saved thousands of dollars. Some important info to know as well: when you are actually traveling with a Euro pass, you do need some valid ID. I only got checked once for ID to make sure it matched my pass. Generally, you'll be using your passport as your form of ID when you actually purchase the pass. I got checked once in Switzerland and I didn't get checked anywhere else for my ID, but you do need to have it on you. They do state that, and if you don't, you can actually get a fine because it could be fraudulent or something like that. Make sure that your journeys are in the pass network. I don't actually know why they even allow you to see it. Maybe it's so that if you don't want to use your pass, you can purchase a ticket if that's maybe a journey that you would prefer. But make sure when you're looking and you're planning your journeys, you actually tick the box that says to only show you the journeys that are in your pass network, because otherwise it's not going to work. When you're taking a train and activating your ticket, make sure to do it before you get on the train. There have been times where I've forgotten and the internet's a little bit shit, and I've always managed to have it activated before the ticket checks. If you don't, I've heard that they just stand there and they get really grumpy at you. As a general rule of thumb, just make sure when you're at the train station about to board your train, or as soon as you get onto it before it starts moving, just activate it. Make sure that you've got it ready, and that way when they come to do ticket checks, it's already added and easy to access. If you don't need a seat reservation, still make sure to sit in your class carriage. If you have a second class pass, do not sit in first class because they will kick you out or they'll make you pay for it. Although if you do get first class like I did, you can sit anywhere on the train, so it doesn't really matter, but you may as well sit in first class because there's always more seats available and it's nicer. Like, I don't know why you bother getting a first class pass just to sit in second class unless you have to. Which that only happened to me once on a train back from Lake Como to Milan. It was late at night. I assume they weren't doing ticket checks. First class was actually full of all these families, and then second class was basically empty, so I just ended up sitting there anyway. It's just so much nicer. So if you're gonna do it, make sure you just sit in your correct class. And also, when you do have seat reservations, make sure you check the carriage number, make sure you check the train number, and make sure you check the seat number so you are in your own spot. You don't want to have to fight with someone about being in the wrong seat. You don't want to have to get moved along by the ticket checkers. Just make sure you're reading it all properly and sitting in your right seat. It will always have the carriage number on the side, except for one time when I was going to Switzerland, but that's in one of my videos, so go check it out. And then it will always have the seat number up above the seat as well, so you can always check and make sure if it's free or if it's occupied, if someone's booked the seat, up to you. And now here are some of my personal tips and tricks to make your journey a little bit easier, to save you some money, and to have the best time using your INTERRAIL or EURAIL pass. My first tip is, if you're going to start your journey before you turn 28, make sure on the EURAIL pass to go to the travel deals tab and make sure you get your 25% off youth discount. Originally, when I was looking at a first class pass, it was going to be $1,800, but after I applied this discount, it worked out to be the same price as what a second class pass would have been anyway. So that's what kind of pushed me to buy the first class, because I was already willing to pay that much on a second class. So why not upgrade for literally the same price? So if you are under 28 when you start your journey, make sure you get that 25% off. I also actually didn't know this as well when I got my pass, and I'm actually low-key a little bit upset, but you actually get 10% off of Get Your Guide tours, and I took quite a lot. I did a Get Your Guide tour through Tuscany, I did one to Pompeii and Vesuvius, I also did one to the Amalfi Coast, I did a Get Your Guide tour to Bosnia. Like, I did so many throughout my trip, and I didn't actually realize that with my pass, I automatically get 10% off, so I would have saved even more money, so make sure you take advantage. As well as you get 5% off Hostel World bookings. That's also good if you are staying in hostels, and especially if you're using the app. Personally, I booked through the hostel's website because it always tended to be a little bit cheaper, but knowing you have a 5% discount, if there are any that you have to book through Hostel World, I think I had about 3 that didn't have their own website, you can save 5%. Why not save a few dollars if you can? My next tip is to try and book earlier trips if you can, because there were times where I did have transfers or my trains were really delayed, and I'm talking multiple hours, and it just really extended my trip. And I'm so grateful that I took maybe a 9 or 10 a.m. train and got there by 5 or 6 in the afternoon, compared to if I had have taken a later train and then had been pushed back late into the night. I remember when I went from Paris to Barcelona, my train was meant to get there by 9 p.m, but we were delayed an hour and a half, and I got there at 10:30, and it was so dark. I was really stressed out. I was all on my own walking through the streets, and it just wasn't the best. So if you can book in earlier trip just to be safe, definitely do. It's also cheaper if you travel after September. I remember getting emails from EURAIL, which I don't really understand why, because I already had a pass, and it was saying get a discount off of your pass if you book now, like after the 30th of September. Maybe consider that if you wanted to. At the end of the day, not a big deal. And my last one that I could think of is with all of your seat reservations, when they email it through to you, because they will send it to your email, just make sure to screenshot them and either have a separate photo album for them or put them in your notes app. So that way, when you do have to have them checked, you're not having to scroll through your emails, you're not having to scroll through your camera roll, you have all of them in one place and you can easily just show them. They don't care if they're screenshots. They never asked me to print them out. They never asked me to find the original email. I don't really think they care as long as they can scan it and it shows you're the right person in the right seat. This just made it so much easier, and having it organized and just knowing exactly when you're going to be catching these trains, where they're going, all that kind of stuff. Just making it a little bit organized just for your sake and also for the ticket checker. It just makes everything sail a little bit smoother. That is my INTERRAIL and EURAIL pass guide. I really hope this helped you guys out and will help make your journey a little bit easier during your European trip. Like I've said a million times, I'm so grateful that I ended up doing it. I really had a great time, and with my first class pass, I just found it made the experience so much smoother. Otherwise, like I've already said, if this isn't something that really appeals to you or you don't really think you'll get enough use out of it, definitely look into things like FlixBus or other modes of transport. There's definitely more affordable options that can also work for you as well. If you haven't checked out any of my videos, I am still in the process of editing and posting all of my European travel vlogs. At the moment, I've just posted my Slovenia video, and next is Vienna. I do have a playlist which I'll put up here if you did want to watch any of them as well. I'm also still posting things on TikTok. I just got so behind on content, and I will be making a short form video of this if you did want to check it out or save it as well, just so you have a quicker, more condensed guide. And if you are going to backpack Europe, don't forget to check out my video for which is the best backpack to buy for your backpacking trip. And I also have a little pack with me, a travel haul, and then my fly with me vlog as well. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great trip, and I'll see you next time. Bye.